Good morning. Raptor Freak, Alexiot's here Sunday morning after a tough loss at home to the Detroit Pistons, a team that had only won 2 games out of 11 before we played them last night. And we were on home court. And there's a couple things about that really worry me because a winning team, first of all, a winning playoff team is at home. And second, a winning playoff team beats easy opponents, like the easy games. And all right, in some ways, last night the game wasn't easy. That the Pistons were a wolf in sheep's clothing in some ways about that game last night. Because first of all, they were coming off a second game. They were back to back, and this is the second game. And the energy they showed in this game against us on Saturday was a lot different than the energy they showed in the game against Cleveland on Friday night. They were a little bit more of a pushover against the Cavs on Friday night, and they saved something for us on Saturday. And really the main thing and the reason of that is their coach. I'm going to tell you right now, Coach Casey, it's very simple. When the Pistons come to Toronto and they're in that locker room getting ready for the game or whatever, or halftime or whatever, Coach Casey's firing them up like this. He's saying, I gave this franchise 6 years of my life. I built this franchise through hard work and pounding the rock, this 1,000-ton whatever rock that I put in the locker room for the Raptors, everybody touched for every day for 6 years when I was a coach here. I took this team from nothing and made it a playoff team. I built these superstars, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, and I get close, and I keep getting defeated in the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, in the summer of 2018, I had just won the Coach of the Year. They fired me, and they sent me away, and they hired my assistant below me. And all of a sudden, they have a dream year with Kawhi Leonard, and they win a championship. And meanwhile, I'm take a job with the Detroit Pistons on a crappy team, and I'm having a hard time finding success since then. So he can tell his players how this team did him raw. And we did. The Raptors did Dwane Casey raw in some ways. And there is some anger from him in this. And that's a real easy way for him to fire up his team, is say, you guys, you don't understand how they did me. And his team starts saying, well, we're going to do something for you, coach. And it brings them up. They always do this every single time. Detroit has extra fire against us, especially in Toronto, for Dwane Casey, because it is true. We did him wrong in some ways, and his revenge comes swiftly. Yeah, but it wasn't just that. I mean, they were definitely motivated. They outworked us. They outplayed us down near the basket. They outshot us. They did a lot of things for their talent that they shouldn't have done towards us, that we should have done towards them. And there's a couple of different things that contributed to it other than the Casey revenge factor. I think that the staff that we had available for the game was very telling also, that our defense was completely inconsistent the whole game last night, that there were times when we did okay, but for the most part, we were not able to contain Detroit in any kind of way. Their shooting percentage was way too high. They made way too many points. Like 127 points for the game, that's insane. That should never happen against any team, regardless if it's Detroit, especially if it's Detroit, because our defense is so good, nobody should be getting to 120 against us. Nobody, especially Detroit. And the thing is, they did it with balance. They had a bunch of different guys hurting us in different ways in different places. Whether it was Stewart down low, whether it was Jeremy Grant going around our guys and just scoring, these Jackson guys or whoever hitting threes, they beat us with a bunch of different weapons. And we didn't have the good stuff in other ways. Like, all right, I can talk about the free throws. Oh, yeah, I could talk about how many missed free throws we had last night, 11, and we lost by 6. Now, you do the math. That's messed up. Now, in the Philadelphia game, the game before, we were 17 for 17 at the free throw line. And I was super impressed. And I should have said something about that at the reaction on Friday to the Philly game, because that is something of note. 17 for 7 from free throw line. That's really good. Well, we lost that all last night. We missed so many free throws last night. And Pascal Siakam may have had his best game back so far yesterday. He did really do some really good things and looked impressive. But he also missed 4 free throws last night. And that he's a leader. And his leadership can carry over even with free throws. Oh, well, Pascal missed a couple. I can miss one, Chris Boucher says. Or the other guys miss one here and there. And it all adds up to 11 missed free throws. And that's really bad. So I commend Pascal for playing a very active, good game. Like he was facilitating guys. He was rebounding really well. Like he got 12 rebounds, something like that. He got 12 rebounds, 7 of them offensive. He had 7 assists. He had all this stuff. He fouled out, but he missed 4 free throws, and he didn't do the job that the superstar does to close the game. And at time near the end of the game, it looked like we were going to get it from him, OG, and Scotty a little bit. Scotty had a really good power play at the end to try to get that basket near the basket. We were doing the things to try and catch up, but it wasn't enough. And it's weird because we had no defense at the end of the game to stop them. I don't know why we didn't put Kem Birch in for the last 5 minutes of the game, because our good defense happens to coincide with when he's playing. I don't know if Nick Nurse has noticed that. He needs to notice that, because our good, consistent defense happens when Kem Birch is playing. And in the last 5 minutes last night, he had Goran Dragic out there. And I had no idea why he's playing Goran Dragic late. Just because he started, just because he played fairly well during the game, was scoring, there's no reason to put him out late in the game. That should have been Kem Birch's spot. And we should have been big. And we should have been dominating down low at the end of the game. But no, they were getting easy lay-ins and baskets at the end of the game when we should have been sealing our defense with Kem Birch down low. And that really was a big problem. I saw right there, a big, huge mistake that Nick at the end of the game to stabilize our defense and seal it off near the basket, because that Isaiah Stewart guy ate us up. Beef stew, as you guys put it yesterday. Beef stew ate us up. We got ate by stew. And, this was bad. This was very bad. The down low, they beat us in the points in the paint. And that was an important stat for us to win the game. And the rebounding, that was another important thing for us to win the game. And we could have won this game. We could have easily taken over this game in the fourth quarter in this game, but we didn't play our best defensive team, and we didn't have guys take over and be superstars late like we needed to. And I say the void that we felt yesterday was Fred VanVleet. VanVleet is so important to our defense that he holds it down. It's such a stark contrast when you have Goran Dragic out there instead of him, because Goran's not as strong as Goran's not as quick as Fred, and he's not as good with the team defense with the rest of the guys as Fred. And that was a huge difference. Sure, it felt good to get Goran out there, see him hit some threes, see him get a little bit more integrated with the team and playing well with them. But that it's not worth losing to me. It make him feel good playing at the end of the game. So, Nick Nurse, what were you doing? You had your best defensive player on the bench at the end of the game last night. Kem Birch is your best defensive player, and it's because he plays the down low defense that hardly anybody else does, and he gets many, many important defensive rebounds to help stop second chance points. And they were killing us on second chance points. They were killing us in all kinds of different areas that they shouldn't have been. So, we clean up a couple of different things. That game goes a totally different way. But this is the revenge of Coach Casey. Coach Casey's like, do it for me, guys. Do it for me and the pain that this franchise did to me by cutting me loose after such a hard working of 6 years I put into this team. And they cut me loose right at the top when they were building to a championship. And, that is really the gumption. That is the effort that this team, the Pistons, they come here, they behind. And they've done it every time. Like I said, the first game back, when Casey came back, they beat us by 1 point on a shot at the last second in the lane, right at the basket. And he had better talent then even. He had guys like Blake Griffin and other good players on the team that time. And Casey's record against us since we fired him after he won Coach of the Year is 7-3 against the Toronto Raptors franchise. He has owned us since we let him go. And in some ways, I respect that, and I don't blame him for having a salty taste and to get to motivating his team with it, because that has really worked. Like, he gets something out of his Pistons that he doesn't get on other nights from giving them that speech about how Toronto Raptors franchise did him wrong. And that's that. But this is the thing. If we can't win against 2-9 teams at home, if our home record is going to be 2-5 or something like that, that's messed up. And our road record is like 6-1, and we're two or something like that. I don't know exactly what they are, but our road record is way better than our home record right now, and that's messed up. I really worry about this team and where we're going to be at the year because of our home record and how bad it is right now, and how we can't beat the really like, we should have won that Cleveland game, and we should have won this game last night. Like, these are games we should have closed out and won, but we didn't. And like I said, it could be the missing Van Vliet, his steady Freddie leadership. Could be, him not playing Kem Birch at the end of the game last night. That was just the dumbest mistake that I was like, what? All right, because I didn't have much in the fourth quarter. I was thinking, all right, well, he's holding them for the last 5 minutes of the game. He'll put him in at the last 5 minutes of the game. No, he put him in late, too late, after it was already kind of over. And Pascal just fouled out. Then he put Kem Birch in. And that was too late. That was too late. And the time that he needed to have it held down pretty much most of the fourth quarter, because we had a lead in the second half. We had an almost 10-point lead in the second half that we couldn't protect and keep safe. And Detroit, they came at us from all angles. They had like 6 guys in double digits last night. So it was like we weren't successful at stopping any of their guys. Like, that was really piss poor defense by the Raptors. The effort wasn't there, and they just did not play them well. And I don't know if Casey just had a brilliant strategy to get open shots. They shot way too high a percentage to be playing against the buzzsaw Toronto Raptors defense. That their offense was too efficient. They scored way too many points. I mean, every single quarter of that game last night, they averaged over 30 points. And that's bad. That's bad. That no team should be doing that against the Raptors with the personnel and the way that we built this team. That just smacks of poor effort by the Raptors. And also, like I said, I don't think that Nick Nurse rotated things right last night. And we really look small sometimes against teams when we get beat down low so bad in the paint and around the rebounds and stuff. All right, let's see what you guys are saying this morning. Good morning, G. Good to see you. And good to see you. I'm a fun guy. Let's see what's up. All right, G, we play down to certain teams. 11 missed free throws is unacceptable. Yeah, you know what? I was saying that yesterday in the preview. We got to watch out and not play down to the competition. But I'm going to tell you what, they came with high competition. This wasn't a low competition Detroit team. They came playing at a high level, and they shot really well, and their offense was really good. And we didn't match them at their high level is what happened there. I think we came in thinking this was going to be anyone and that they were going to just roll over. And we didn't adjust to when they came in with some badassery and some fire. And we didn't match their fire. And the free throws are absolutely unacceptable. You're exactly right, G. And like I said, Pascal missed 4 free throws last night. That's awful. That is awful. And there is leadership in that. You want to be a leader and make your free throws as a good example for your other guys, because then they get up there and they half-ass it and they miss 1 or 2 free throws themselves. And it was a lot of different guys missing free throws last night. To miss 11 free throws, it has to be a lot of different guys. All right, G, Birch looked in pain, or maybe he was just stressed out. Maybe they didn't want to risk his knee. Yeah, I don't know the reasoning why. Like, I don't think let's see how many minutes he played. He only played 15 minutes last night, but he had 5 rebounds in 16 minutes, 4 points. I just think that even if he's like not getting points or, even rebounding consistently, I just think he does so much for us positionally on defense that he just takes up so much space, and he really guards that area around the basket way better than anybody else on this team right now. And that we need him when we want to really seal people out. And Nick Nurse, coaching staff, whoever, I think Jack Armstrong's watching me because he echoes some of the stuff that I say sometimes, like days later. If y'all are listening, if you can hear me, y'all really need to use Kem Birch for defensive purposes in games and get him out there when the game is crucial. And he wasn't out there at a crucial time last night. And I really believe that's a big reason why we lost last night. That if he had played most of the fourth quarter, we might have won the game last night still. So let's see. I'm a fun guy this morning. Damn, man. OG and Barnes were atrocious, blowing so many defensive plays. Yeah, I mean, everybody was. There was something weird about our defense last night. Like you know what they did? Detroit came into Toronto and punked us last night. They punked us, just like we punked Boston in the second game of the season. Casey came in, he got his guys to punk us, and we got punked last night. We definitely got punked. Scotty did a lot of good things still in that game, but you're right. They were all guilty of blowing assignments on defense. And I'm sure that the tape's going to be really watched. Like after this game, they're going to be on the plane to Portland today, and they're going to watch tape. They're going to see all their mistakes, and they're going to talk about it. And hopefully they'll clean it up because it was atrocious. Detroit did whatever they wanted to do, and it shouldn't have been like that. I'm a fun guy. That was the first I seen OG get cooked in a while by a rookie. Yeah, Cade Cunningham really did. He did little things throughout the game, but he was the superstar last night. He was the man who stepped up and put his will on the game when it counted and made sure that his team won. And it was really impressive that he did it on isolation against one of the best defenders in the league. That really says something to him as the first pick of the draft. And if you ask me, last night, Cade Cunningham beat Scotty Barnes in the battle of the rookies. Even if Cade didn't score a whole lot, he made his will on the game. And Scotty had that one basket when he drove straight to the basket late in the game. Like that was his will. And that was good. That was one basket, but it wasn't enough. And he really did need to play better defense. He needed to get more points. He only got 10 shots last night, which is weird because they're really trying to get Scotty the ball and get him to be more offensive. But that they failed at that last night. And that may be because we didn't have Fred last night. And, on the down low, not having Precious was a big deal too last night. His physicality would have really helped against these guys like Stewart down low and what they were doing and all this kind of stuff because Stewart's not that tall. We have somebody just a little bit bigger than him next to him that's just as quick. He can stop him, but we couldn't stop him at all. These guys were all shooting a high percentage and getting easy baskets, and I hated that. I thought we could hang with them. Even I talked with the person I was watching the game with. I said, we can shoot poor free throw percentage against Detroit and still beat them. I said, if we're going to have a bad free throw shooting game, it might as well be at Detroit because we can still beat them. Well, I was wrong. Because we couldn't beat them and still shoot poor free throw percentage. So this is just a testament to is one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference, then the Eastern Conference is stacked because this team has a lot of talent and Detroit is on the way up with guys like Cade Cunningham playing like the way they do. Darren, yeah, yeah, the threes. They were just bombing threes on us left and right. And, what are we doing? Why can't you get that Hayes guy? Why can't you stop Mr. Mustache running around with his goofy porn stash? Like, what was this, guys? Why couldn't you stop these dudes? They weren't that big. They weren't that talented. They weren't superstars. That was Kevin Durant and James Harden, y'all. What was going on out there? You couldn't stop them. This is so weird. Yeah, the D was extremely weak, Darren. Like, I couldn't believe how bad our defense was last night. I think our defense may have been the worst it's been all year. Just from not being organized. I don't know if Casey just had really good schemes. We switched to the zone at one point. It looked okay, but then he made a counteract to the zone right away that was effective, and their offense didn't miss a beat still, even though we put it in the zone. It's so crazy. Yeah, I'm a fun guy. We can beat Portland, baby. That's right. Just believe. Damian Lillard's hurt. They're playing today, and he's not playing today, Lillard. And they're going to have to play us tomorrow. So they're going to be on a back-to-back. But as we saw yesterday, a back doesn't necessarily mean it's good for us because this team from Detroit came in back-to-back and kicked our ass. So, all right, MK, why are we so bad at home? I don't know, man. It's so weird. Like, we were all on the road, and maybe that's just it. It's like we have the friendly confines of the Scotiabank Arena, but it's like maybe it's too friendly. Like we need more edge or aggression out there. I don't know. Maybe we need some fake Tampa fans to come and sit in the arena near the court and act like they're Toronto fans, but cheer for the Boston Celtics. And then maybe we'll get something. It's very strange. I do think that part of it is this, okay? And this is going back, like when we had the Bosch and Bargnani years and other years where we were an uncomfortable team that didn't have a lot of confidence in themselves. That what happens, and this is what I was talking about earlier, the energy from the crowd feeds the team and vice versa. So when, all right, in the fourth quarter last night, when Detroit started to take over the game and start to beat us, the crowd, instead of getting like more amped up and helping them, they kind of get shocked. Like they're like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose. And they become like pessimistic losers and they shut up. And Detroit feeds off that because they're like, whoa, we just shut their building up and they feel good and they get better. And meanwhile, our guys are like lost the confidence of the crowd and they've lost the confidence in themselves. And with a team with Lowry and DeRozan and good veterans, they can get past this feeling of uneasiness from the crowd and be sure in themselves and make the shot still. But our team's young and they haven't learned this kind of confidence when the confidence vacuum in the building is gone. And I really think that's what's happening, is that other teams are sucking the confidence out of our team in our building arena people. And that is a vacuum. And that really makes it hard for our team to succeed in that point, unless they're really confident superstar guys are established. And without Fred out there, he may be the only one guy that's proven in that kind of environment. And I think that's really what it is. It's a confidence vacuum that it happens with the crowd involved in it and the team. It echoes into the team and their confidence gets shot. So I hate it. I don't want that to happen because a good team home. And this may be the symbol of when we develop to becoming a really good team, is that we start to see these home wins for sure and beating these really bad teams that we should beat. Those are the signs of a really good team. And it may be that we're kind of in the middle right now, a 500 team like our record. And that when we see the signs of winning at home and beating the poor teams, that means we're arriving more. It's very weird. Like we should be a better team at home for sure, especially after being away for so long. This is something we talked about all summer. It's going to be so great to have our home court advantage. Well, so far it's not a home court advantage. It doesn't feel like it, does it? No. All right, let's keep going. You guys are on fire. I got to catch up here. All right, G-Man, Spicy P needs to be traded. Okay, G-Man. You know what? He's great. He did all kinds of good things last night. I'm worried about him in some ways as far as like maybe being a clutch guy, maybe making the big shots late in the game because, he's been hit or miss with that. But, Scotty has more value than Cade. Yeah, I believe that. I'm not putting on Scotty. I'm just saying last night that Scotty was not as good as Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham won that game and Scotty Barnes blew assignments he should have made. And he didn't play as big as he could have in this matchup. Like, honestly, Detroit was there for them to eat up, whether it was OG, Pascal, which he did to an extent, and Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes could have ate them up a little bit more than he did. So I'm just saying that Cade Cunningham won this rookie matchup. But out of all the rookie matchups so far this year, this is the only one that I think Scotty's lost. Even the one against Mobley, even though they won, I think that Scotty was better than Mobley in some ways in that Cleveland game. But yeah, no, it's different. I'm not comparing. I'm not disrespecting Scotty. Don't get me wrong. Like you're disrespecting Pascal. All right, let's keep going. Barnes still had better stats, 11, 6, and 4. Cade was 10, 3, and 4. Yeah, I'm putting a lot of weight in those two baskets against OG in those one-on-one moves because that's super impressive. Like he really did take one of the best defenders in the league to school twice late in the game. And that's I give extra points for that right there. Let's see. No will, no effort, no focus at home. Yeah, it's really weird. It's almost like they were already had their head on the road trip that starts today. Like you got to take care of each beat as it comes and don't overlook somebody like Detroit just because of their record. You really got to put the effort in for every team because in the NBA, any team can beat you any night, especially if you play like dogs and you're not playing hard. Let's see, 2 or 3 games now with weak efforts. Yeah, we've lost 4 out of the last 5 games, and a lot of these games we were missing Chem, and there are other things like Pascal's involved in them, and the comment earlier. I don't like that we lose with Pascal starting at center, but that is a factor. It's like Nick Nurse, you need to look at the games when you start Pascal at center and see how we've lost every single one of those games. Like you need to see that pattern. that you have to start a center. You started Precious against Philadelphia, and we won that game. That's the only game we've won in the last 5 games. All the rest of them, you've started small for the most part, other than Cleveland. And, it's Kem Birch, man. It's Precious Achua. You need to get those guys in the starting lineup no matter what. And I don't like the small lineup. I really feel like that's what's killing us. So, all right, let's go. G-Man, we should all be worshiping Scotty. He has something special. Dude, I'm all for what you're saying. I think he is our future franchise player. I think we should build around Scotty, that he is the important guy. Out of everybody on the team, he's the one that I want to keep. For sure, man. I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just calling it like it is. He did poorly on defense last night, but he did really play. Like, he's playing great for a rookie, doing all the different things he's doing, like at this level already. It's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to slight him at all. And he's definitely somebody that I'd like to invest. Out of everybody on the team, he's the one that I want to keep. If we have to decide tomorrow that we can only keep one franchise player, he's definitely the one I'm picking. So let's not get it twisted here. Brian, I feel like Stewart is what we want Precious to be. They're similar players, really, but in a way, I'd much rather have Precious because his ceiling is way higher. Stewart's really active and aggressive and good around the basket, but he's smaller than Precious. Precious is bigger than him, and I think that Precious in the long run will have a much better offensive game overall than Stewart. Stewart may be limited in some ways, but yeah, I'd love to see Precious have more of that kind of gumption and fight down near the basket and stuff like that. That Stewart guy really did impress me last night. Okay, yeah, well. We're not going to talk about the trade stuff right here. G, do you think Nurse was just trying a bunch of stuff this game? He changed 3 schemes in a short time. Yeah, I think that there was a lot of trying stuff. He wanted to give Goran a chance to do something and get some confidence, which I think he was successful at. Goran did get some confidence, and he did feel more integrated. But this is a double-edged sword. I hope that this doesn't mean that he's going to get regular rotation now, because really the only reason why Goran should have been out there is because Fred was out. But if Fred's playing, Fred should get all of those minutes. Goran shouldn't be eating into Delano or Malachi's minutes. And honestly, if that's the only game that Goran plays within 20 games, like if he doesn't play the 9 games before and he doesn't play 9 games after that, I'll be very happy, because he really has no business being out there. Because when he's out there, our defense sucks. That's another thing. If they really look at the stats and they look at the shifts and who's out there and how things are happening, they'll notice that every time Goran Dragic has played in a game for us this year, whether it's the beginning of the season or the game last night, our defense has sucked. Like, it has been awful. He just doesn't have the part in the team defense to help like Fred does. Like I said, like it's about like some of it's strength. Like, Goran is just not strong enough. And some of it is also lateral quickness, like going side to side and doing the switches with the other guys. Goran just doesn't do it properly with the other guys. And our defense sucks when he's playing. So like I said, he's not a good player for us to have on the court, unless it's something like last night where Fred was out. We just needed a veteran to start. And that was okay. I feel like that was okay. All right, let's see. What else is going on? Trade for Ayton. Yeah, I like Ayton. Ayton is really good. If he ended up on our team, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know if that's a deal that Phoenix wants to do, but I'd love that. That would be really good. All right. All right, Darren. Okay. Kenne. Nick must have done Casey so wrong that the God's still angry 5 years running. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's bitterness there. And you can tell after the game, they don't shake or talk to each other. Now, Casey came out in the middle of the court and said hi to all the former Raptors, the guys that he used to coach, like Pascal and Fred and stuff like that. But if you've noticed in certain games, Nick Nurse doesn't go and talk to the other team at all. As soon as they win or lose, he just leaves. He just walks out. And that, in some ways, some people may say that's bad sportsmanship, that like he does that. But I think Nick Nurse has grudges and problems with other, and that he doesn't even act like he likes them. He just leaves. He doesn't even shake their hand or anything after the game. And I think that there's a real issue between Casey and Nick Nurse, that Casey has problems with Nick Nurse for submarining him and him taking his spot and winning a championship in his spot that he might have won a championship in. It's a similar thing to the DeMar thing with Kawhi. And, I don't blame Casey. I love Casey. Casey was our coach for 6 years. Now, I don't think he was a good playoff coach. I think he was stubborn and he didn't move guys around or make substitutions or adjustments fast enough for us to win in the playoffs. And I think that Nick Nurse is that. So I'll take Nick Nurse every day. But I have a lot of respect for Casey, and I love him. And I realized the importance he had for us on our team. So, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough situation. And yes, there is definitely animosity between Dwane Casey and Nick Nurse. There definitely is. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. You guys are everything that's being talked about with Pascal Siakam right now on here. I'm just going to skip over because we already understand where we stand with this. And I'll let you guys talk to him. You can talk to him, and I won't get mad with you guys. If you guys, it's not a bullying thing, G-Man. It's just that we're positive Raptor fans and we don't like that kind of stuff. I understand you want to trade him. And we've been saying this. People have been saying this for a year or so now. And it's fine, but we're down with him. He's a part. Like, the reason why Earl Watson is here is because of Pascal Siakam, and we're not moving him. I mean, it may come to a point where he does get moved at some point for whatever reason, whether it's because we have too many guys at one position or that the experiment with him has not worked out. But he's still all in with us, at least for now. But we'll see how it goes. But there's no reason to call him that, what you're calling him. And I'm not going to stand up for you. If these guys want to roast you, that are my regular viewers, they want to roast you for it, they will. I'm going to let them, because honestly, I'm more with them than with you on the whole Pascal thing. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. Okay, let's see. Gee, I would have liked to see Bonga on games. Honestly, I was really hoping that yesterday would be a blowout, that we would kick their ass, and then we'd see all the 905 guys for like the last quarter of the game last night. Like, it would have been cool to see Johnson, Bonga, Champagny, Banton, and a whole 905 team out there. One of the things that happened last night was pretty cool. Was we had another one of those moments where we had 5 Canadian players on the court all at once. When we had Banton, Birch, Boucher, Trey Lyles, and Corey Joseph. 5 Canadian players on the court, just like we did in that one game earlier this season where there were 5 players. I think it was Indiana. Yeah. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, I'm trying to skip some of the stuff that's on certain stuff. Bonga over Boucher any day. I don't know. We'd have to see more of Bonga. It's really unfortunate Chris took those tumbles. That one tumble when he went right up over underneath, like landed on his head almost. That was really scary, because that's the kind of stuff in rap, guys snap their necks. And like bad things happen. Like, I watch a lot of pro wrestling, and I can see somebody get dropped on their head like that. It can be very bad. But he fell in a certain way. They took him out. He's got a bruised tailbone or something like that. So hopefully he'll be all right and he won't miss much time, because it's really too bad, because Chris was actually finally getting some steam, and he did look good in the game last night until he got hurt. It's just the thing where we gotta we're going to have injuries, and it's just next man up, and we'll see. Maybe Bonga will get some time if Chris has to miss time. And also, we don't have Precious back yet or something like that. Cause that's the thing. We're weak down low. We need big guys. That's why I kind of want them to bring Reggie Perry up. Like, Reggie Perry, to me, really impressed me in the 2 905 games so far, is he's showing some stuff. I know you guys like the 7'2" guy, but I think Reggie Perry is much more ready to come in and do good things for the Raptors on the main squad. So let's see. Yeah, Andrew, I don't know what the fuck that game was last night. It was tough. We're going to give it to Casey. Casey motivating his guys, light a fire on them, getting really good schemes out there, getting them to play hard, getting them to outplay us is basically what happened. If we hit those free throws, we win, though. So there's something like that. Okay, fun guy. Boucher lost us this game. We had a 9-point lead. Boucher wasn't even in the game by then. He had been in the back already. We just needed Birch earlier, is what I feel like. If we had Birch for most of the fourth quarter, our defense might have been more sound, and we might have been able to stop them, because we were starting to score and catch up. And but we had to stop them too. They couldn't keep scoring baskets, but we weren't able to stop them at all. They scored 127 points. That's very ineffective defense. That's way too many points. Way too many points. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore all that. Masai keeps rolling the dice by playing Goran. He's trying to increase Goran's trade value, but it's backfiring. I don't know. Maybe his trade value went up just a little bit last night, Andrew. I bet Goran is playing bad on purpose to get waived. His defense is awful. I think that his defense is just what he's capable of. Like, that's just who he is at this age. Like, I don't think he's strong enough to play most guards anymore. He's not tall enough. I think the NBA is just growing past guys like Goran Dragic. Like, they don't have a place in the new NBA going forward. And that he's really kind of hit that wall like suddenly in his career, where it's just there's just no place for a player like him in the league anymore because of the way we're running our defense and stuff. He really is a liability. So it's the free throw and Coach sees revenge. That's why we lost last night. I can't really say it's any particular player on this team that the reason why. I mean, I can. The free throws were really big, and if you say the free throws and 4 of them were Pascal, then yeah, sure, you can kind of say a little bit Pascal's fault. All right, let's see, Darren. Goran didn't play bad. His defense isn't par. Yeah. He had good baskets. He hit his open threes for the most part. He played pretty well with the team. Like, he looked the most like he belonged with the team last night for the first time. Like, he actually looked like he was working with the team and doing stuff. Like, I really love that play where time was running out and Pascal got on the ball for that layup right at the last second on the 24-second shot. That was really good team play. And it was a good confidence builder. Like I'm saying, I hope that this game last night made his value go up a little bit. Who knows? Because then maybe people will see, well, he's a veteran point guard. He might be able to help a young team like mine. Like, maybe Detroit would trade one of their big guys for Goran Dragic. Would we take that? Maybe, yeah. Would you take Stewart for Goran? I would. Oh, yeah. He'd be a good upgrade on that. Let's see. I want to make sure that I'm being selective here now. Yeah, he got a steal. He ran point real nice. I want him to succeed. I'm not one of these guys that, like, I want Goran to be shitty. I want him to succeed, and he did for a lot of it last night. It's just that the stats don't lie. When he plays, we lose. So they need to look at that. When he plays, we lose. When Pascal starts at center, we lose. So these are like things that Nick Nurse and the assistant coaches need to look and see very starkly that they're there. You can see it. So let's see. Bonga, yeah, tearing it up in the G League. Bonga looks great, man. Like a guy who does everything like right now. He looks really, really good. Let's see. MK47, almost 6 with Kelly. Okay. Let's see. I wish we played Flynn instead of Dragic. Flynn got a little bit of time in there. Yeah, in the second half, I would have liked to seen more Flynn later in the game than Dragic, because I think Flynn's a much better defender than Dragic. Like, he sticks with his guy better, and he seems to be more annoying. I know, Dragic did get that one steal, like we just mentioned, and that led to a basket and stuff. But I just feel like for some reason Flynn's more active and more of a kind of guy that like gets scrappier than Goran. Goran's not as scrappy for some reason. I don't understand why. Bonga is really changing his game. So weird. And Perry is beef. Yeah, I mean, Perry's a big dude. He'd be able to knock people around. And like I said, I saw him hitting threes in the 905 games, the first 2 already. And I didn't realize he had 3-point range. So he fits. If he can hit a 3 and he can bang and get some rebounds and stuff like that, like, we just need size. We need size. That's what we need. Pistons have way more assists. Casey knew to just keep passing the ball to get the open 3. Yeah. I mean, they were really effective, and it was one of these things where we weren't harassing them on their shots enough. Like, the fact that they shot such a high percentage from 3, they shot 42% from 3 and 55% from the field. These are just shooting percentages that opponents of the Raptors should not shoot. Like, that's and 127 points, way too many points. Way too many points. And let's see. All right, where are we going? How did they hit 6 threes in a row? I know. See, that's what I'm saying. It's probably partly from defense, like you're alleging here, Darren. It's like guys like Dragic or different guys that just didn't rotate out, or we're playing a zone and they just beat the zone by getting the right spot, stuff like that. Yeah. And they couldn't miss. Like, that's the thing. They had a hot shooting night too. They came out with energy. We let them get their confidence with their shot by getting too many open shots, easy shots, and they were just started rolling. Like, we should have agitated them much more at some point in the game. It would have changed things a lot because, like, yeah, they couldn't miss, and there's no reason why.
All right, I'll read this one, G-Man. I don't care about wins and losses. This year is about finding out who we have in terms of championship caliber. Van Vliet and Scotty so far. Okay, yeah, and this there's a lot of truth to this. Wins and losses shouldn't matter this year. And like game like that is one of those kind of wins and losses that we're like, we're developing, we're growing, we're becoming a new team, and this is just part of the metamorphosis. This is the hard work of learning and losing and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, you got to lose a stinker game to a bad team sometimes, and you feel the shame of it, and you feel like this is bad. But I agree with you, G-Man, in a lot of ways that this year it may not necessarily be about wins and losses. Like we're 7-7 right now. We're a 500 team. It could go either way. This is a road trip that's not going to be easy coming up. So we'll have to see where we are in 2 weeks when we come back from this West Coast road trip with our record and stuff like that. But yeah, at least Siakam had a good game. That's a relief. Yeah, yeah, he did. He really did have a good game in a lot of different ways. He showed a lot of his different things that he does really well. And he does a lot of intangibles that the stat sheet doesn't even show, as far as facilitating other guys and just like getting like defensively, being annoying and causing problems and stuff like that. But not enough of that last night, obviously, because our defense sucked. It really did. I'm a fun guy. Oh yeah. Okay, that's pretty funny. We'll trade you before we trade Siakam. That's funny. All right, Criscom, we have about 3 trash losses. Time for a winning streak. Yeah, we have had some trash losses, and they're games that are close, games that are winnable. That's the one thing is like out of all of our losses this year, the 7 losses, there's maybe only 2 of them that were blowouts where we really got beat bad. The rest of them were all real close and winnable games in the last quarter. And that's just us learning as a young developing team how to close the deal, how to win those close games where it could go either way, like last night. And we should have won last night. We should have closed it out. We should have stopped them on defense, shut them down completely, and we should have executed and won. But we didn't. It didn't happen. And I got to give kudos to Dwane Casey. I really do. I really, really do. Okay. Darren, P is a solid piece. Only people can trade now is Goran, Boucher, and Flynn. Those are the 3 guys you think are tradable. Yeah. I mean, anybody's tradable, honestly, for the right price and the right people. It's just you got to really, I don't like speculating too much. Like I said, we can do woulda, coulda, shoulda. I could do a whole stream just on trade speculation. It would just be a whole lot of hot air. So it's just, until something happens concrete, then we'll do it. But these guys that you're saying that could be traded, yeah, if they're trade pieces, and especially Goran, yeah. All right, Kenrick, good morning. Just had to make foul shots. Yeah, it's a big part of it. That's 11 points. We lost by 6. That's a big, big part of it. And it is all about building around Scotty right now. G-Man, I agree with that. I do. And I think that these pieces, these guys next to him, they could be an important part of his career. Like even if Scotty only plays with the guys like OG and Pascal for a certain amount of years, he's going to learn from him and get better and learn things from them. So I think that, let's not get ahead. And I don't like stabbing our guys in the back just for bad stuff. And Pascal's got a lot of knives in his back these days. People love to stab him in the back for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Raps are the 4th youngest team and have just done a retooling with a lot of new players. We're doing well overall. Yeah, we are. We could be a 2-9 team like Detroit was when they came in yesterday. That could have easily been our record. And a lot of prognosticators and NBA experts were figuring that was going to be what our record would be after 11 games, 2-9, something like that. But we're not. We're better than that. And we're only going to get better. Like as we figure out our offense and we get more consistent with our defense. Our defense has been really consistent at times and badass. But it's just like sometimes we don't have it. Some nights we just don't have it. I don't know if it's the other team has a better scheme on offense or we're just dogging it. We're not playing as tough as we should be. And last night was kind of that, was a little bit of both. Like they had a really good scheme. And for some reason, we weren't playing with the energy that we normally do, which was really bad. It was not a good game to do that. Let's see. Darren, they're building with Scotty, 30 minutes a game. You trade Pascal or Fred VanVleet in 2 or 3 years, not now. Yeah, I agree with a lot of that, Darren. If we're going to trade them, You don't trade him now. We try and win with this core and what we're doing right now because we're under the cap. We got everything going. We got these guys for good deals for the most part. And, go with what we got right now. And let's just kind of try to. Kenrick, we definitely have to make Toronto a tough place to play. This is too easy. And like I was saying earlier, the confidence vacuum in the building is happening with the crowd. The crowd gets unconfident in the team when we start losing late in the game, and then they suck all the energy out of the building, and the players aren't veteran enough to like take over and just say, oh, we can make this happen still. They get like doubtful, just like the crowd. That energy really does feed the energy in the building. If the crowd gets all doubtful and like, oh, I don't know, oh, I'm scared or I'm worried, that you start acting like that as a crowd, then it really fucks up the energy in the building. You got to be like confident and just be like, I don't care if they're winning or losing. Let's go. Defense. Like, it doesn't matter if other teams coming back or whatever they're doing. We can't let the other team control our crowd. And we're submissive to the other team when we do that. That's what I hate about it, is that our fans and our fan base and our home crowd should always be defiant of the other team and be vociferous and vocal no matter what. And that's the thing. They silent us. We can't give the other team the remote to hit mute on us. And that's what happens. And anybody who goes to any games this year, be the minority few that is loud no matter what. Because you don't want to be these weaklings. They're just like, oh no, they're beating us. Ooh. And then you clam up. No, that's not us. That's not real fans. Those are people that came casually to be entertained by a game, and they want to feel like winners. And if they're not winning, then they're going to be like, I'm not associated with this. It's a really awful thing. All right, let's see. Brian, as good as P might be, it's tough to feel confident in him in close games. He's prone to missing bunnies and often commits a charge on his drive spin move. That charge that he got charged with late in the game, Goran said it in his press conference after the game. He didn't think that was a foul on Pascal. They're doing a lot of dirty shit to us, the refs, right now. Like, the things that they're doing to OG are wrong. OG, that knee, that's bullshit. There was all kinds of dumb stuff. They're treating OG in a way like they treat Trae Young and James Harden, not in the fullest extent, but there are certain players that they are treating like on the down low in a bad way. Maybe it's to discourage them. Maybe it's to just make their lives more miserable because they play for the Raptors. But I really believe that. Like, OG doesn't get calls. OG doesn't get any benefits of anything with all the physicality around them. And part of it is the Shaq factor. Shaq used to get fouled all the time, but because he's so strong, you didn't see him react. He didn't get foul calls. And some of that's what's happening with OG, is that he's so strong that they're hitting the shit out of him and they're not calling anything because he's just that badass. And that makes it so much tougher for these guys. And it's easy for them to get down and feel like it's all against them when the refs are that against them. And I feel like the same thing happens to Pascal on the down low to a degree also. And that charge may have been one of that showing up. He does miss bunnies, and he hasn't shown that he's always clutch, and he has let us down. And I think that that's the reason why people are so quick to want to trade him, is because he has let us down at times. But I believe in him. I believe that he can be like DeMar, because DeMar was the same thing for many years. He let us down. He wouldn't be good in the clutch. He'd miss shots. He'd do the same thing that Pascal did, but he turned the corner at a certain point and became super clutch. So it's almost like we need to let Pascal develop into that, make the learning mistakes, figure out all the ways that he could fuck up and avoid them in the future. And that's what's happening with him. So it's like, why do we invest all this time with his fuck up, and then we trade him, and then all of a sudden he's a more polished player and he is clutch and he's able to do it then, and we miss out on it because we traded him because we didn't patient enough to hold on to him to get through the learning pains? That's what I'm talking about right there. That's how it works, guys. All right, let's see. In all fairness, Pascal made a clutch shot with an and one, and a bunch of players missed their shots at the end. Yeah, Pascal did good things at the end of the game. The things that we lost about last night weren't offensive things necessarily. They were defensive things. We needed to stop them from scoring, and they consistently came down and scored on us every time down the court in the fourth quarter. And we can't close teams out and beat them if we're going to let them score every time they come down the court and they're ahead of us. That's just math. We can't do it. So that was where our failings were defense and free throw percentage. I don't necessarily think it was our offense. Our offense looked really good at times last night. I mean, Gary Trent was badass in the first half, hitting everything and hitting threes, just looking awesome. And Pascal really did look good offensively in a lot of ways and did a lot of important things. So I don't really blame anything offensively last night. I think it really was the defense really failed, and those free throws really hurt us. They really, really hurt us. Darren, Masai and Bobby know what they're doing. They got Fred VanVleet. Oh, hang on. OG and P on some excellent value contracts. In 3 years, shit will hit the fan trade-wise. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Pascal's contract's pretty big, and that's why he gets a lot of this crap, is because we're paying him a lot of money, and we expect him to be a number one franchise superstar guy. And, sometimes he's not that, but sometimes he is. So we got to just stick by him and let him have his chance to fail and succeed. Because the failure may come for a little bit now, but he's going to succeed eventually, more so than he fails down the road. I really believe that. He's just going through the hard stuff, the fire. Last year was a part of it, and this year getting back into his groove is a part of it too. And once he gets going this season, I think he'll start rolling, and a lot of things will be happening good for him. That everybody will be more like, okay, we like Pascal again, and we want him on our team. It's just that people don't like to see somebody fail. And when they see somebody fail in a high profile spot for us, they want his head afterwards. And it's just an ugly part of like sports teams and fandom. It's how it goes. That's why it's a lot of pressure to be successful, because then people won't like you. It's that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. I'm a fun guy. Scotty is a rookie. We are not building around him yet. Yes and no. I mean, we can kind of think, yeah, this is the guy we'd like to build around ahead of time. But, you're right, too. The guys we're building around are the three core. It's OG, Fred, and Pascal. These are our three main guys. But Scotty is really the future. He is the future. I believe that. And he's the one, like I said, if I had to choose tomorrow, he's the one I would say I want to keep this guy for sure, just because of where he's at in his career already and how long he has to go to develop and all this kind of stuff. And I really do think that he may find his clutch easier than these other guys, just because he has more tools and weapons in some ways than Pascal and OG already. It may be easier for him to find his clutch than those two, and go through the growing pains of finding his clutch may be shorter than Pascal and OG, which takes 5 or 6 years into their career before they become really reliable clutch players. And it may be that Scotty's a really reliable clutch player in 2 or 3 years into his career. So we'll see. We got to monitor this. It's all exciting because it's all trending up. That's the best thing about it all. So let's see. Fred VanVleet, OG, Scotty and GTJ should share the load end of the game. P shouldn't be ball stopper this year. Yeah, I believe that. I think we should have a multifaceted attack at the end of the game, so that keeps the other teams guessing about who's going to be the guy who tries to take over the game and win it for us. And I keep saying we should really monitor who's been playing well during the game. Like Gary Trent and Pascal were both good options yesterday because they were both doing really well offensively. So either one of those guys, and I think that Trent did get to shoot. The one part that really pissed me off is right at the end of the game, we got all those shots in that possession and nobody could hit nothing. That was when we really needed a basket, and we got so many chances. And you notice who was out there, who was keeping the ball alive. It was Kem. They finally put Kem out there, and they kept getting second chance shots in that one possession, but we didn't hit any of them. And that just shows the kind of night we were having last night, is that some important times when things need to go right, they didn't go right. And that was one of them. So, okay, let's see what else is going on here. Okay, yeah, this is becoming I'm rubber, you're glue. Let's see. Okay, guys, I'm gonna read all this later, but I'm just gonna skip over the stuff about what you guys are talking about here between G-Man and everybody. Blah 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 blah. Okay. All right, I'm a fun guy. Tobias Harris makes way more than Pascal Siakam. So does Ben Simmons. Wow, that's a huge stat. I didn't know that. Well, that makes me feel a lot better. See, this is the thing. I'm a fun guy is usually the voice of reason to me. And I really appreciate you, dude. I'm going to give you an appreciation post right here. I'm like, thank you, I'm a fun guy, for talking me off the ledge earlier this week and for giving me this great tidbit of information. I didn't realize Tobias Harris makes more than Pascal Siakam. So, well, yeah, we got him on a steal and a deal for sure. Okay, Kenrick, thank you for being the voice of reason. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'm a fun guy. We can build around Scotty by next year or 2 years, but right now he's about our fourth best player. Yeah, he is. He's still only like our fourth or fifth best player. But yeah, I think that it's just more like forecasting ahead, is saying this is probably the dude we want to build around, just because of like the showing of the all-around package and the different things he can do are really nice. Like, all right, that play last night where he got the rebound, and he touched rebound to the outlet, and they went in transition and got an easy basket for Svi. That was beautiful. That was like a really high-level veteran play that Scotty didn't take the ball all the way down. He realized he had the rebound, and he just tipped it over to get the outlet and get that fast break going. That was high-level veteran kind of decision making. And a lot of vets can't even make that decision in that split second like that. So that was super impressive. Super impressed with that. Yeah, guys, there's no reason to fight, guys. There's no reason to fight, really. I mean, this is what they want us to do. There, Scotty is now a big piece. Easier to make him the guy with Fred, OG, and Pascal and Gary. Yeah, over time. Gordon Hayward isn't far behind Pascal's contract as well. Yeah, see, we could be wasting money all kinds of different ways. Pascal, we get value for him. We may not get him exactly all the way successful all the time, but this is, like I'm saying, he's developing his ability to become clutch. And it takes trial and error. It's like you don't just get it like automatically all the time. Some players are special like that, but not a lot of them. It's like you got to develop the tempered and steel kind of feeling of going into the fire and getting burned and learning how to deal with those like really high pressure situations and be successful and learn the sting of failure and mistake from things you could do wrong in that. And, Pascal's had a lot of these lessons already. He's not like just starting out the learning of this ability. He's been learning having these issues and problems, and he's learning over time, and he's just going to get better and better in high pressure situations because he's going to get more used to it. Pascal got a big rebound. Scotty missed. Gary Trent missed. Yeah, they were that one possession where they had like 5 field goal attempts and nobody made any of them was a real dagger. Like not even the dagger from the other team. The dagger was that we failed to execute with so many chances in the last minute of the game. And it's just, I'm telling you, a lot of this is Casey. It's Casey. And Casey lighting a fire under his team, saying, this team did me wrong. You love your coach. Go out there and beat the shit out of them for me. And that's it. That's it. Casey has a really easy pump-up speech when he comes to Toronto against us. He has a really easy pump-up speech for his players, and they really get behind it. They said it afterwards. Stewart said it in his interview afterwards. This was for Coach Casey. So they pretty much, that was the reason why they come with some fire when they come to Toronto, is they're doing it for Case. And that's just how it is. Anselm, good morning, man. Glad to have you here again. Pascal is having his preseason right now. He's doing great, just coming from injury. Y'all need to stop it. Yeah, I think that's a lot of truth in it. This is kind of his preseason. And if you think about it, he's had 4 games back now, and last night was a regular kind of game for him, a regular kind of stat line. And, he's off minutes restrictions. That's what they said in the game after, in the press conference afterwards. Nick Nurse said he's not on any more minutes restrictions. He's going to be able to play on back-to-backs. Everything's fine. He's ready to go full tilt now. So we're going to see him there. Kenrick, without a true big, I think until we get going, Scotty may come off the bench against some teams. I think that's just the smartest thing to do. I mean, you give yourself some real versatility and talent off the bench and some scoring, rebounding, all kinds of different things. He's a rookie. There's nothing wrong with putting him on the bench and letting him have a little bit of that also. We've done that to Pascal. We've done that to OG. Fred had to come off the bench for a long time before he got to start. There's nothing wrong with doing that with Scotty. And I think that's the smart thing to do. Is because you have to have a center. We have to have either Precious or Kem out there. We lose when we start Pascal or Scotty at center. It's not the right starting lineup. This small ball thing is a failure. It was a failure last year, and it's a failure this year still. And I completely agree with Kenrick that that's the move I would make because Gary's playing too good. If Gary was not hitting his shot and playing such excellent defense, I would move him to the bench and start Scotty instead. But because Gary's playing so well, and you can't, you just can't. He's playing too good. All right, Darren. Yeah, give this team time, All-Star break onwards. Yeah, give us some time. We'll get our stuff together. We're losing games that they're tough losses right now, but hopefully clean these up and these won't be an issue. Like, near the end of the year, we shouldn't be losing games like this, hopefully. That we should be able to close people out and just show them. So, yeah, Detroit has owned us since we fired Casey, 3-7 against them. Yeah, it's a very personal thing, and it's real. This is not a figment of our imagination. This is not something that's just made up. This is a very real thing, and I'm pretty sure that Casey has a real animosity towards Nick Nurse and Masai Ujiri. So he really does up for this game. Yeah, it's not even a curse. I wouldn't call it that, G. I just say Casey is pissed off and he wants to work it out on us. And and somebody called it yesterday the Casey Cup because, like, in some ways, Detroit's not playing for a whole lot this year. We know they're not going to make the playoffs, probably. We know they're probably not going to do a whole lot. So this is kind of like their championship. When they come to Toronto and play us, to them, this is like the big game. This is like FSU versus Miami in college football yesterday. This is a big rivalry, and they want to get this one. If this anything, this is their moral victory and championship for the year. Well, we didn't do a whole lot all year, but at least we beat the shit out of the Raptors in Toronto for Coach Casey. And that's really the moral championship for Detroit, is beating Toronto here because of Casey. So, all right, let's see. Darren, I think you're right. After around the All-Star break, they should be popping. Yeah, we could get a little ahead of schedule even. Like, let's see where we are around Christmas. I mean, a lot can happen like in a month. And, we go on this road trip and we have some real team growth in different ways. We get Yuta back. We get more of our different guys back in different looks. I still love this idea of how Nick Nurse has a bunch of like players and he's using different combinations. He's just putting them out there and seeing what works. And I've seen a couple of combinations recently in the last 2 games, even though we lost, that have looked really badass. Like you see the 5 out there, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, he's playing big. And it's like Banton, Barnes, OG, Gary, and like Chris Boucher or something like that. And you're like, this team actually looks really good. Look for those kind of combinations, like, because he's trying different ones and putting them out. And, sometimes in some point you just see it out there and you're like, whoa, this team is a kind of a badass. This looks like it's a clicking team. It's really clicking well and stuff like that. Because that's still the thing. They're marking them down. They're figuring out which ones work really well. And hopefully over time, they'll be able to figure out how to keep those rotations and those combinations together consistently through the whole game so that we have a really good defensive effort, hold 48, and we're finding the basket easier, not struggling so much on offense to beat other people's defenses. So, yeah, they should be acclimatized by the All-Star break. Growing pains are painful but necessary. This is all true. And the refs, I mean, we could talk about the refs. The refs were garbage last night, and they were helping Detroit. We know they were helping Detroit, especially late with some of that stuff. It's so crazy. That one play where they went and reviewed it and they did give it to us, the over and back, where the ball was rolling and they touched it. They didn't know how to deal with that. At that one point, the refs just showed how inept they are and how not with it they are. And they had to powwow and talk about it in the middle of the court. And meanwhile, Casey and Nick Nurse are both yelling at him. Like, what are you doing? You idiots. You don't know what you're doing. And like, finally, they did the right thing and gave us the ball on the sideline. But they were going to try and give the ball to Detroit somehow, some way, and try and make a reasoning for why. And they couldn't. And that's why they gave us the ball. And that's why it took so long, because they were trying to figure out how they could give Detroit the ball somehow, some way. But there was no way they could, because actually, I don't think Goran did touch the ball. I think they just threw the ball straight through his arm and it just went down the court. So, the refs were awful. The refs were bad, but like, honestly, that's not why we lost. We missed free throws that we should have made. And the free throws were pretty even. They did make some bad calls at times late in the game that really favored Detroit. Like that OG knee, that was stupid. Like with all of the contact that's happening this year in different ways, That was not unnatural what OG did coming at Stewart when he hit him like that. That was just natural motion to go to the basket. But like I said, they're picking on OG. They're not letting him have any breaks, the refs. And that was one of them right there. All right, Darren, I like the pain. Gee, you know why? 3 million people at the next parade. I love you, Darren. You're the baddest gangster from Jakarta I know, man. You're like you. I love the pain. This is gonna be so much sweeter when the 3 million people are at the next parade. Yes, I love that, man. I love that. That's such the right attitude. All right, Anselm. I'm late to the party, but why did Van Vliet sit out? Yeah, it's his groin. Comical as that sounds, I can make all kinds of jokes about why somebody has a sore groin. I mean, that's just low hanging fruit. Really, come on. But the fact that he got fined for doing the big balls motion and then he sat out the next game for a groin strain or soreness. The jokes write themselves. Come on. But apparently, Fred has actually been dealing with this groin soreness before the Philadelphia game. He's had it for about a week now, and that they just saw the schedule and they were like, let's give Fred a rest. And he could have played yesterday. He could have played. It's not anything serious. None of these guys are really. I don't think Precious is that hurt either. It's just that they saw an opportunity to give these guys a rest game against a weaker opponent, and they didn't gauge it right. They should they didn't gauge it right, and they didn't do the things they needed to do against a weaker opponent who wasn't weak, honestly. Like I said, if this is one of the bottom feeding teams in the East is stacked this year because Detroit is a good team on the down low in some ways. Like they're not a bad team, like they have been in the last couple of years. They got a lot of good players, like good things going there. Let's see. Yeah, it was his groin. Let's make all the jokes about that. Yeah, Ty T. Yeah, it's hilarious. Good morning, man. Good to see you. All right. Okay, Darren. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about Leafs fan. I have a friend who was at a party last night, and it was his girlfriend's family, and he had to sit in there, and both games were on last night, and they said they had to watch the Leafs because they were Leaf people. And then they started talking about how the Raptors weren't going to be that good, but they like Scotty, but they think the Raptors are garbage overall. And it sounded like pure hell. Like, I'm like, do you really need to go out with this girl? Because this is her family and the way they're acting and stuff like that. And then when the Leafs won, they started gloating that they won and the Raptors lost. I was like, that just sounds like hell, man. Why were you there? It's like, it's my girlfriend's family. And I'm like, oh, man, you might want to consider like a new girlfriend or something like that just because of that. But yeah, it's awful. Awful. Fans are really annoying. It's like, and this is what he said. He's like, what have y'all won? Come on, that you can be all like better than now over the Raptors. What have y'all done recently? Come on, Leaf fan. Come on. You guys are jokes, honestly. 5th episode of the Open Gym is great, guys. All about Delano. Yeah, highly recommend that for sure, too, Ty T. I watched it. He went back to Rexdale. He actually rides the 45 bus on that episode. I love all that stuff. That's a godsend. It's such a beautiful thing. It really, really enriches the relationship between the team and the fans. We really get to know them. And, we get to feel like it is a really strong thing. And I think most sports teams, if they could pull off having something like Open Gym, they should, because it really, really does make the relationship between us and them more close and personal. And we really feel like we know these guys because of shows like Open Gym. There were so many years in this league that, the players really could have a shroud of mystery about who they are and stuff like that, but not with this show. The show shows us everything, and I love it. I love it. Highly recommend it, with Ty T saying here right now. I'll put the link in the comments after I finish the live stream so you guys can find it for sure. All right, I'm over an hour. I'm going to finish up y'all's comments, and then I'll be back tomorrow for the preview for Portland. Let's see what else is going on here. All right, Anselm. Banton made the G League game look like NBA versus high school. Yeah, he did look really good in that game. He had a lot of turnovers, but that's the way G League's played. It's like high turnovers, high energy, high scoring, all over the place. But he looked really good. And it's good that he dominated there because it really shows that he's ready for our level at the Raptors main roster level. So, okay, Darren, I think all the P-hate, racism, etc., Loafs fans jealous of the 2019 chip. Yeah, there is a lot of racism involved. in the thing with Pascal Siakam. I hate to say it, but skin tone is involved in this. And I mean, I studied sociology in grad school. I've studied social issues and societal issues, whether it's deviance, whether it's racism, whether it's whatever, fertility, mortality, migration, all the different things about sociology that you can study. And there are studies out there that have shown that depending on how dark your skin is, you can get more racism than like other people. And that is a factor in this. I hate to say this. I'm just being real right now. But part of it is that, just purely that. And it's disgusting, ugly, and wrong. It is wrong in today's day and age. And this is the thing. A lot of people are racist on the down low. And they let it out in little ugly ways, like where they think they can. And this is a little area where they think they're justified because they think that he plays so badly that they can get away with browbeating him down like this. And that's their excuse. But on the down low, they really take glee in it because of how dark he is. And that's messed up. I hate to say it. And I know some people may get turned off by me being real and talking about this, but no other NBA content out here is going to get real and talk about the reality of this, because this is part of it. And it's ugly and sad and true. And that's why I love that most of y'all on here were staunchly defending him today with what was happening on here. And I don't go wrong with what G-Man's trying to say and stuff like that. There's some truth in what he's saying. And I'm not saying he's a racist for what he's saying at all. But there are a lot of people, and especially if they're connected to hockey, that are racist in that way. And I hate that. But it's just a sad truth of this world. And the only thing we can do is be progressive and go forward with love and understanding and beat racism in our hearts and change everybody else as much as we can also, and say it's not right. Stand up for people. So that's what we got to do. All right, Ty T, bandwagon casual fans. Yeah, you can't watch them through the losses. You ain't a fan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to be here every morning. As ugly and bad as last night was, I have to do a live stream in the morning. We got to talk about it. And that's just how it is. And that's the way we roll as Raptor fans, the real ones. That's who we're with. I'm with the real ones, and that's y'all. And the other people, they can go do whatever. They can be more Leaf fans now because they think that the Raptors are worse. But we'll see where we're at the end of the year and where they're at the end of the year. That's what's going to be really interesting. All right, let's see. Yeah, people still watch the Leafs. Anselm, I will not watch anything Leafs until they get to the second round, and I truly believe that they are the reason why Toronto has had a losing mentality, which Masai changed. That is all truth. What you just said right there is all truth. And I'm the same way. I won't watch them until the second round either. I watched them in the first round last year, but then I watched them get swept. So I'm like, all right, we got to wait till the second round. Kenrick, open gym is pretty awesome. Yes, highly recommend everybody. Most teams wish they had an open gym. We're so lucky to have it. I'm a fun guy. Raptors and Blue Jays have taken over for Toronto sports. Yes. This is the thing, Leafs. If you don't innovate or do better and great, then you're going to get left behind. We got a newer, faster, better product out there that more people are interested in. More people appeal to it than, like rich people that have money that can buy all the equipment and do all that stuff with that. I hate to say it, but that's part of the truth. And, if hockey was more accessible for everybody, then maybe it'd be different. But that's just how it is. And it's more fun and cool to be a Raptors fan than a Leaf fan. It's more fun and cool to be a Blue Jays fan than be a Leaf fan. That's just the pure truth of it. So, yeah, let's keep going here. I want to finish up. My lady friend's here, and she's going to get upset if I don't finish up soon. All right, let's see. Agreed. Ty. As a Bruins fan, both in Montreal, I can attest to that. Yeah, you guys, there's so many people in Toronto that are hockey fans, but they're not Maple Leaf fans. They've just given up on Toronto, and they just become fans of Montreal or Ottawa. Well, not Ottawa. Why did I say that? Boston, Detroit, teams like that. Delano is such a good kid and a super cool dude, has this cool, confident demeanor. I'm becoming a big fan. Yeah, he's just impressive all around. I mean, he just did a 4-day back-to-back, guys. He played Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's 4 days in a row. That's insane. And he's just so cool about it. And he really does have a good maturity to him as somebody who's so young. I really, really love that. All right, guys. Let me just finish them up real quick. That last open gym was fire for sure, and some really good. Delano's grandma, I cried a little. Yeah, that was really sweet to see him back home with the people there, and like him interacting with them, and like the little kids around, and like they know him. He's just a part of that world and those people, and I love it. I love it. He's not detached from them now that he's big time. That he's still the same dude. Yeah. All right. Let me just see. It's like I love the fan base, cool culture, love our colors. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to love. I mean, wasn't the court and the jerseys and the warm ups looking really slick last night? Those warm ups looked like pajamas. I was like, these guys are wearing their pajamas. They're coming out to the court in their pajamas, but they look really cool. They looked awesome. They were slick with the collars and and even the coaching staff with their little like diamond studded shirts. I don't know what was going on last night, but the style was off the tracks. It was like way up there. It was really cool. And you always notice like when we do the court in the Welcome Toronto, Drake's never there. He doesn't come for the games we actually do his court and stuff. So it's hilarious. Yeah, we all have bias. We do all have bias. And it's sad, but you know what? It's just about understanding and putting yourself in the other people's shoes and perspective and understanding that we're really all one. It's like we're all on one planet. We only got one planet. We're doing awful things to it that may cause problems for us in the future. And we're really all in the same boat. And the more we realize that we have to be together and work together because of things like that, the better off we'll be. Because powers out there want us to fight each other, and they put us at each other in all kinds of different stupid ways. And some people say, all right, sports is tribalism, and things are wrong with tribalism with sports. I don't believe that. I think that sports is a very healthy way for people to work out natural kind of tribalistic tendencies, because you can do it in a way that's respectful, nonviolent, and like it builds trust and respect between people. Like we've had Nets fans, Knicks fans in here, and there's a level of respect and stuff like that. So I really believe that sports is a good, different thing than war. Like I'd much rather have teams play sports than be at war. So I think that sports does good things for that. Some people say, oh, it incites tribalism and differences in people and stuff. I don't agree that. I think it gives us all a common thread that we can all come together and respect in an area. That's what I truly believe with that. Raptors and Jays have future All-Stars and maybe Hall of Famers in Vladdy and Scotty. Yeah, sure. Both of them. I love that. The next C jerseys will have to be like my hat. No, they're going to be black. They're always going to be black. That's just the city colors, the black and gold. All right, guys. It's 1:20 almost. I really appreciate it, y'all. I appreciate G-Man. I know that you came in here and you got a lot of hate and stuff like that for just espousing views, and rightfully so in some ways, because this is honestly, guys, I really appreciate the way that we handled ourselves today, even if you guys whatever. I'm going to go through and read the whole chat and see exactly what all was said in there. But once again, thanks. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be here tomorrow morning previewing Portland. And we're starting this West Coast trip. It's 2 weeks of West Coast stuff. And what I'm saying right now is it's 6 games. I'd like to get 4 out of the 6 games to win. That'd be really successful. If we get 3 out of the 6, that's okay too. But if we get less than that, I'm not going to be happy. So I want us to stay 500 while we're out west, and we'll see how it goes. We'll take it one step at a time. We'll see if Lillard's going to be playing tomorrow. That may be a big factor. And we'll see how well they do tonight in their game tonight before we have to play them on Monday. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Ty T, Anselm, Darren, let's go, baby. Woo!